my lovelies. How are we all doing? Apologies for the stream being still marked as 3 p.m. I did change it and YouTube decided that they weren't changing it. So that's fun. I'm a wee bit windswept and interesting here. I'm very, very discombobulated today. But anyway, yes, I'm here. So who have we got? Who have we got? First of all, I want to say thank you to Jan and Thea. They have tried to contact me about the time being wrong on the stream. I have been otherwise engaged today. So thank you, especially Jan, who posted up here in the chat for anyone that had appeared at 3 o'clock. We've got pink cutter hands from Cal. Hello, Cal. And we've got Martine. Hello, Martine. And we've got Sandy as well. Nice to see you too, Sandy. And everybody's okay. Weather, yeah, weather. Don't talk to me about the weather. Good grief. Just not right at all. I know we've talked quite a lot in the streams, or I've talked quite a lot in the streams about the Kelpies. That's where I was today. I was meeting a friend. Some of you will know I have a friendship with Glenn's mum. I haven't seen her for a while, so we met there and we went for a walk around the Kelpies and got some coffee and stuff and all that good stuff. So yes, I have been peopling today. And it's one of these things I enjoy at the time, but it takes a toll. My social battery is very, very limited. So I actually feel a bit fried right now. I came home less than an hour ago and there was like 4 people sitting in my kitchen. Mr. Jem was doing his vet review. And I was just like, I'm just going to make myself a cup of tea and then I'm going to go through and get set up for my streams later. I don't want to people anymore. So that has led me to the position that I am in now, which is here with you guys, which is much, much, much more agreeable. That's a gem. It is indeed a gem. I've just been notified that the stream has started. Well, that's not bad, Jan. That's not bad. Hello, Ulrika. How are you? Roseanne's got the 2 littles. Hello, 2 littles. How are you? Just put the time on wrong and we'll be reminded at the right time. That might actually be a thing. Definitely relate to the no peopling. Kath gets special dispensation. I've known her a long time, and at one point I actually lived with her. Which is a story I've told before. So we've got quite a close relationship, but I hadn't seen her in so long. Like, her schedules just were not lining up. And she stays down in Wales now, so our paths don't cross very often. We just didn't have enough time today though. Like, we could have done with another 4 or 5 hours to catch up and just chat. We talked a wee bit about Glenn as well, which was nice. And there wasn't much in the way of tears for a change, which was also nice too. So I have really enjoyed it, but I can guarantee you when we finish this stream at 6 o'clock, I am going to go and make myself as unsocially acceptable as possible in terms of clothes, and I am going to like wrap myself in a blanket and sit on the couch and cuddle my dogs. That is basically what's happening. Need to go back and sketch that. Well, Jan, if the weather had been better today, I was going to take some photographs and I was going to take my sketchbook and go a little bit earlier, you know, like before my meeting time with Kath. But the weather's been absolutely atrocious, and that my hair was lovely this morning, like it was all nice and sitting, and now I'm just like, looked like I've been dragged through a hedge backwards. So I was like, okay, we're not doing that then. Cal's got to people tomorrow shopping. Oh, okay. Shopping. I can't think of anything more horrific, honestly. I hate shopping. Like, I hate it. I don't like doing it for myself, and I don't like doing it with other people. Like, it's a thing that's just... Oh, I hate it. So you have my deepest sympathies for that one. What else has everyone been up to today? To be fair, Jan, that was in January. You would think the weather would have picked up by now. I don't know what it's like. Maybe Martine's probably closest to me geographically at this precise moment. But it's weirdly mild here. It's like 16 or 17 degrees, but it's windy and it's showery, but the showers are like downpours, which is why I ended up in this state. Mary, hello Mary, I didn't see you sneak in either. That's why you do yours online. I do most of my shopping online. That's one of the nice things I like about the internet having taken over, is you can do your shopping online. I mean, I do my grocery shopping. I don't even go into a supermarket. That's how much I hate shopping. So anyway, our plan for today is I'm still chipping away at my WIP list. I am now down to one, two, three, four, five, six. Two of which are videos. One is obviously the Rita page, and the other one is the painting for the second Cave Discoveries. I've kind of hit a bit of a roadblock with that, and I'm like, I need to step away from it for a week or two. I'm kind of tight for time anyway because we're calving now. There's calves popping out everywhere. It's ridiculous. We've had another set of twins today, so that's us now up to 4 sets of twins. All of last year, like the full calving season last year, we only had 3 sets of twins, and we're only a week into the season now, and we've already got 4 sets. So I'm slightly concerned about that. I'm going to have all these extra babies. So it's a case of when I want to do things, I have to specifically like schedule it and carve out the time, and I have to be very disciplined with my schedule as well. If I don't do that, what happens is I end up tired, burnt out, nothing that's even remotely productive gets done, and I'm not any better off for it. So I have to be very disciplined with myself. So I've decided to step away from that acrylic painting for a week or two. Unless I get a sudden sort of flash of inspiration, I'll go back to it. But I really just want to catch up on all the other things that I've got kind of half done. So we're going to start with a bit of colouring for the first part of the stream, and then I'm going to get my gouache paints out, and I'm going to go back to the gouache redo of the green door, you know, the scroller challenge that I did. So that's kind of my plan for today. So we'll see how it goes. And yeah, that's really about it. Shopping calms Thea down. Ugh. Especially when you've got noise cancelling headphones on. Better. Thea doesn't go outside without her noise cancelling headphones, except for when I have to be sociable. Yeah, we've got quite a lot. Well, obviously, a lot. All of our bigger supermarkets do that. They have like a quiet hour, and it's usually like a Tuesday morning or a Wednesday morning or something. Um, I find it doesn't really make a difference though. Like just now, I don't know what it's like down in England, but the kids are still off for Easter break just now, so there's a lot of kids everywhere. Hi Patty, how are you? Yeah, so there's kind of no getting away from it. And there's Green Hat as well with all her pink on her hands. Hello. Jan seems to recall very enthusiastic shopping by Gemma and Cass Arts. That was an exception though, and that was made 100% better because you were with me, Jan. Yeah, Cal, I get that a lot. Like you're hearing all the noises all at the same time, and you can't focus on any of it. You know, you can't pin one thing down. I get that a lot in restaurants. Mr. Jem's used to it, and you know, I'll quite often he'll say something to me, and I'm like, "Pardon," and it's not that I didn't hear what he said. I just didn't process it because there's background noise and music on and cutlery clinking and you know all that kind of stuff. I identify with that very very much. Second week of Easter holidays for Leeds schools, yeah. Cal's were back yesterday, and the kids are back in London as well. And there's Susan. Hello, Susan. The kids are still off in southwest England. It's funny how everything's so different. I mean, it's not, I don't really keep up with the school schedule for obvious reasons because I don't have any children. It's always easy for me to tell though because our next door neighbour, like our actual next door neighbour on the farm, not our next farm over, they've got 3 children. So when it's the kids' holidays, the kids are always out in the garden and I can hear them playing. So I'm like, yeah, the kids are on holiday. That's like my only gauge of the holidays. Usually for the smaller holidays here in Wales, they do a week before and a week. Yeah, like so the actual celebration is like in the middle. Well, yeah, but I notice that even around here, it varies from school to school. You know, if you go over the border of a county, even though those schools might be close together, they can have different holidays. It's weird. Ulrika's got a school one house away from her. Okay, so you definitely know about it. Mr. Hat's kids are upstairs. It sounds like I heard of elephants. Jan's traumatized. That's funny. Or sometimes I get a moany message from my brother as well, because he's got 3 kids. Two are still at school, one's not at school anymore. And I usually get a message along the lines of I'm losing the will to live. I'm like, well, yeah, you chose to have kids. I think because he works from home now most of the time, he's much more aware of the kids just being there kind of thing. That's funny. Right, okay, so let's move on. Let's get a move on. So I'm back to this page in the Hannah Carlson book. So I've done a wee bit more since the last time I showed anything on the channel here. And you can see down the bottom here, I'd started on the sort of rocks round here. So I want to get the stones finished off, the door, these little birdies, and the window frames, if that's what you want to call them. I'm not going to colour these weeds or grasses because what I would like to do is, as a video, I want to do a soft pastel background because I've not done one for ages and this is just screaming out for something squishy and blendy and wah. So I thought I would do that, and it's easier to do that because these weeds or plants are really itty bitty. It's easier to do the background first and then just erase the little bits in the strand with like the little Tombow mono eraser and then colour them in. So if I can get the rest of this done today, I'll be happy. And as I say, then I can go on and do a video. So I'm going to use a mix of pan pastels and normal soft pastel sticks because I've not done a video like that for such a long time, and I think that would be quite nice just for a wee change. So you can see I had a bit of a play about with the light in these windows as well, because I'd really sort of pushed this idea that the light source was coming from maybe here or here-ish. So I've let that light go into that window even though there's a plant in front of it. And as I've come round here, I'm maybe thinking there's like a spiral staircase or something in here, so there's a wee bit of light on that left hand side and it's gotten darker as it's gone round. So that was kind of the logic behind it, but I'm really pleased with the way the brickwork's come out. I'm really happy with that because I wanted it to have that sort of slightly haphazard look about it. The bricks are maybe starting to come loose or whatever, and I'm pleased with the overall effect that we've got in there. So let me zoom into the bottom part first. I also need to know from you what colour this door should be. I never got a consensus and I never decided, so if you have a strong feeling about what colour the door should be, please let me know. That would be wonderful. Martine's a purple. That's one of Mr. Jem's favourite words in a Scottish accent, is purple. What do you want a purple door for? Strange people. Right, okay. So I had kept a hold of the pencils that I'd used previously. I was a clever girl and remembered to do that. My wee Tombow eraser's in there as well. So it's Prismacolors I've been using here. For the bottom part here, I went with a selection of greys from the Cool Grey range because I wanted that contrast between the stones that had actually been used to build the tower versus what was on the ground. The reality is that it would probably be made of a similar stone. Resources when these types of things were built were normally taken from the immediate area. But where's the fun in that? So let me get my greys out. The greys. Got quite a lot of pencils. I've got all the greens here that I'd been using as well, so I need to kind of have a little bit of a dig through here. I've also got, right at the bottom of this little cup, purple is the wizard from Stardew Valley's colour, therefore all wizards are purple. Okay, that's a sound logic. I like it. Okay. Tiny pencil. Right, that's better. Just trying to get myself sorted. I don't feel organised at all. I'm just I like to have loads of time before a stream to get like set up and settle myself into what's going on, and I've just not had that today, so I feel a bit fraught. Sandy says wooden. Wooden. Do you know Stardew Valley is a game I could just never get into? I've tried 3 times now, and it's just not for me. I don't like it. I have a notion um to I'd started playing Cyberpunk 2077, and I'm enjoying it, but I feel right now, because I'm really early into the game, it just feels a bit like Grand Theft Auto with like a pretty jacket on. So I'm not, it's like the visuals are lovely, but it's not really like hitting the spot for me. And I was talking to Cal on the Discord about all the Resident Evil games, and I think I'm going to go back and play the Resident Evil 2 remake. I played it when it first released, but it was so long ago. Obviously, I know the story because I played the original Resident Evil 2 when it came out way back. You know, I was when I was a teenager. But I haven't played the remake since it came out, which has been a couple of years now, so I actually can't remember a lot of it. So I'm thinking I might go back and play that. I haven't decided yet. Okay, so for these stones, I've got the lightest grey that I'm using is the 50% cool grey, and I'd use that for these steps here. And I've also got the 70 and the 90, so leaned heavily more towards the 90 with the stones around the outside. So I'm just going to start with a layer of the 50, and we'll go from there. This is feeling very similar to the video that's just gone up, because we used a lot of greys in that as well with the polychromos on the Rita page. So I've got a bit of deja vu here, but that's okay, that's fine. And I'm just going to take some pleasure in making all these little stones kind of lumpy bumpy and, you know, very textured in their own individual little selves. That can be very therapeutic. And any of these grasses that are below that skyline, I will colour those in too. That's the plan. That's where we're headed with it. So we'll get going with that. Do you know what else feels really weird? I'm still dressed in my people-in clothes, and I very rarely sit at this desk now in jeans and boots. So it feels a bit odd. At the very least, I've normally got my Crocs on, and I've still got like my big outside boots on, but that's okay. When I say my outside boots, I don't mean the ones that I wear on the farm. I mean the ones that I wear to go out and be socially acceptable. They're not like covered in cow poo or anything. Although I did meet 2 lovely big hairy retrievers today, and they were incredibly interested in sniffing the boots. I think there must have been some sort of farmy smells going on there, because they were like, oh yeah, this is great. Purple joined when everyone was saying purple. Water. Oh, all right, Martine. Martine's doing a lot in her art class, isn't she? Yeah, we kind of half had this discussion last week, didn't we? Or was that on the Discord? I can't remember. Something that I've not tried. Okay. I'm gonna have to get some pointy points on the go here, or not pointy enough. That's one thing I find when I'm putting texture on rocks, just because unless they're sort of, you know, pebbly, they tend to have more angular areas on them. So if you've got a sharp pencil, look at that, that's ridiculous. Ugh. If you've got a sharp pencil, you can, you know, define things a little bit more. So let's start in here. Just see what happens. Make it fancy if we want. Absolutely no method to this, like no rhyme nor reason, just go in and have some fun and see what's hot. I did find when I was doing this side though, I was doing like a sort of a wee cluster with the 70, and then going in with my darkest pencil before I moved on. Just to kind of get a sense of what they look like collectively. Because I know when I'm drawing normally, I don't know if any of you guys do this too, but I tend to move around. I don't finish like one section and then move on. I tend to move about the image, and I don't think it's any different when I'm colouring, to be honest, especially with stuff like this. See, there's a really nice line there, so that kind of makes me want to follow the line. Get that in there. Whiskerwood is taking all my spare time at the moment. It's such a fab, cosy city builder with a lot of depth. Oh, that sounds cool. I'm just looking for, honestly, I'm just looking for violence and zombies. That I don't know what that says about me as a person, but that's the kind of mood that I'm in just now. Obviously, I'm still Animal Crossing-ing because I do that every day anyway, but, you know, a game to, like, really get your teeth into. I just want to hurt some zombies. And I think Resident Evil 2 is the way forward for me personally. Start to put in some bits and bobs here. The other nice thing about using the Prismacolors for this is that if you decide you've made something too angular or too prominent, you can take your lighter colour and blend it out really easily because they're really soft. You don't like that. So it just kind of like takes the edge off it a little bit, and that's, again, a great reason to use Prismacolors. Or the other, people ask me this all the time, and it's usually in the comments on videos. If you're not in the States or North America and you want something similar, I really, really like the Derwent Colour Soft pencils. As I mean, I wouldn't compare them like for like, but they are very soft, and I feel they've got a similar blendability as well, and they're a bit more accessible if you're in Europe. And they're certainly very accessible here in the UK, obviously, because they're from here. If you have a sharp pencil, Jem says, then shows a point that could be classed as a weapon. Did you like that one, Jan? Jan likes stabby things and pointy things. All the pointy points. I had a friend who hated zombies, but he decided to try to be brave and play 7 Days to Die with me. He screams like a kiddo. La! The chroma flows are good as well, yeah, Mary. I haven't used the chroma flows since they more or less they first came out, but I found them very crumbly, like a bit too fragile. But I have it on good authority that since they've added more colours, they seem to have sorted that out. So I don't know whether they tweaked the formula a wee bit maybe. But I had a lot of breakages with them, but the colours are absolutely bananas. They're great. Apparently there's going to be a State of Decree 3. Ooh. Exciting times. I'm really looking forward to Fable coming out. That's another game I'm like, yes, I'm pumped for. I'm still in this sort of swithering place now. I think Cal's probably the only person, and with Patty as well. I feel kind of like console bereft at the moment. I don't play PC games on my PC as much as I should, considering the setup that I've got and the laptop that I've got. But what I find is, see, by the time I've done my proper job and I've done cave stuff, I do not want to spend any more time in this room. Like, I just want to get out, because I associate being in here with work. And that has led to me not playing a lot of games on my PC. The ones I can get away with on the Steam Deck, which is the handheld PC, you can link that up to a TV, which is what I do if I'm playing something that's PC based, but you can't run a lot of the AAA games on it. It just doesn't have enough power. So I've got this like console shaped hole, and this, I love the Switch too, but you're missing out on a lot of stuff with Nintendo, and I'm kind of like, well, what do I do about this? Because really, in my mind, what I want to do is buy a PS5, but I've got a Steam Deck, I've got a Switch 2, and I've got a really powerful gaming PC. Like, why do I need a PS5? So I've been looking at the Steam machine, which is the basically the compact PC console that's coming out from Steam. But it looks like it's going to be really, really expensive. So They've not actually put out any prices, and we don't have a release date yet. But people are thinking it's going to be more towards like the $1,000 mark rather than like the $500 mark, and I just don't think I could justify that for the amount of time I would actually spend playing it. So I'm kind of in a quandary at the moment. But for the time being, I was perfectly happy with Resident Evil 9, which is a fresh game out. I was perfectly happy with it on the Switch too. Um, I could have gotten it on Steam Deck, but I wanted to play it on the Switch, and it was good. I think I need more dark bits. Not got enough dark bits. Okay, happy enough with that for now. I keep kind of like, I'm like stopping and squinting at things. Keep going here. These little stones, they're so cute. Teeny pebbles. A green hat gets fed up sitting at a desk. So I like the switch. Well, I've always enjoyed the switching ability of the Switch, because if I get like a quiet bit of time, then I can steal the TV, and then when Mr. Jem comes in later on and he maybe wants to watch something, I don't have to stop what I'm doing. I just click my Joy-Cons in and lift it out, and I can just carry on from where I left off. Like I've absolutely loved that about the Switch, and I also love that about the Steam Deck as well, because it works pretty much the same way. Could always just hook up a laptop to the TV. Well, this is the thing, Cal, though. My laptop it's so tethered to this desk because I've got cameras and microphones and other cameras and lights. Um, I'm not going to dismantle that to take it through to the living room, and I'm also not buying another gaming PC, because I did have a thought about that at one point. Um, the only time that I like to sit and PC game is late on at night, and if I'm playing online with other people. Sometimes I play a bit of Fallout 76. And we went through a wee phase of Phasmophobia as well. That was fun too. But the remakes, Jan, for 3, 2, 3, and maybe even 4 are cloud based, and they don't run well for me just because I've got hillbilly internet. Cal's got an Xbox Series S at the minute and our laptop that could fry an egg after 5 minutes of The Sims. Hello, Laura from East Kilbride. Oh, lovely to see we've got another. We're doing well for Scots folk in the stream today. Thank you for joining us. I don't think we've got anybody in the cave from East Kilbride. We've got a couple over my way in the Lothians in Edinburgh. But Martine is also in Scotland, and so is Susan. Susan's a bit further north. Thea said it was good having the Switch with her on the train rides. Yeah, definitely. That's because I like the portability of the Switch as well. Funnily enough, I've got my Steam Deck here. But it's very cumbersome compared to the Switch. Like, it's quite chonky. So see if you're carrying this about, it's a lot. And the battery life, obviously, this is basically like a mobile PC. The battery life is nowhere near as good on the Steam Deck as it is on the Switch 2. And in turn, the Switch 2 battery life isn't nearly as good as the old OLED original Switch. That OLED Switch that I had, the battery went forever. So if I do the odd time that I'm out and about, I see when I fly to Sweden to go and see Julia, I always take my Switch with me, because there's loads of games that you can play offline on the plane, and it's only like a 2-hour flight to Gothenburg from Edinburgh, so it's perfect, and I really enjoy that. I usually play for the first little while, and then I've got my little challenge that when the seatbelt light goes on, when you're ready to start descending, I start drawing a tree in my sketchbook, and I've got to finish it before we land, and I do that every time, and that's just become a thing for some weird reason. But I like drawing trees, so. So Martine's closest to Laura. Central Belt represent. I get the laptop being a work thing, work on a Windows machine for work, so personally used to have a Mac, so it doesn't feel like work. So you're switching, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think, see, to be fair, a lot of the Nintendo stuff for me it is nostalgia because the we always had games consoles. My brother's a huge gaming nut as well, which obviously rubbed off on me. But and we were like one of the first people in the street to have a PC in the house and all this kind of stuff. Um, but my first console that was just mine, like my brother used to share whatever he had with me, like I was allowed to play it kind of thing. But the first console that was bought just for me and was mine was a Super Nintendo, and so I think the Nintendo stuff is very much fueled by nostalgia. Playing, all the Nintendo exclusives like Mario Kart, Animal Crossing, Zelda games. So I think there's a huge part of that, but there's quite a lot of stuff that runs well on the Switch. There's games that really don't run well on the Switch. I tried to play Skyrim and it was just horrible, and I'm like, I am not doing this. Like, it's not happening. Hello, Polly, in sunny central Florida. Well, you can bring some sunshine to us because it's grey and horrible in the UK. We had an Atari on the back sitting room Moonraker for the win. Yes. Well, that's the other thing as well, though. In my formative years, that was when the N64 came out, and Mario 64 was groundbreaking. That was a big thing, and we had GoldenEye, which is still to this day the best multiplayer game ever. If you go back and play GoldenEye now, it's absolutely awful. Like, it's terrible. It has not aged well. But at the time, it was extremely accessible. I mean, I don't know how many million hours I wasted on that. That and Tony Hawk, the original Tony Hawk and Tony Hawk 2. uh, so many hours of my life wasted away playing those. Because I did have the original big grey box PlayStation as well. Tony Hawk was it. It was the beans. Really, really good. So definitely always been a thing. So I don't know what I'm gonna do about my console conundrum for now. I could really do with not spending any more money right now. I mean, I've only had my Switch since November. Um, Mr. Gem suggested selling my Steam Deck if I want to buy a Steam machine, but realistically, it's not going to put a dent in it if it's going to be the kind of money that they're talking about. SSX Tricky, yes, that game was really difficult. Martin showing her age, Atari Pong, and that's funny. A green hat preferred Perfect Dark. I quite like Perfect Dark as well. Oh yeah. Silent Hill, yes. Tomb Raider, yes. I didn't play the original Resident Evil until I'd played this. Like, I played the second one first, and I went back and played the first one. Come on, I have a guest room in an RV that doubles for a guest cottage and a well-stocked studio. That sounds wonderful, Polly. Jan got banned from playing James Bond games with her nephews. There was an act to get, yes. Laura's playing Alan Wake on PS5. The new Alan Wake. It looks so good. I haven't played it, but it looks so good. I remember Jet Set Willy as well, because we had a ZX Spectrum. That was the first. Yeah, and ours was the one with the full size keyboard MIDI, and the tape deck was like part of the keyboard. I know you got the smaller one that had like the little rubber keys and the cassette plugged into it, but we had the full size one. That was in the days where you put the cassette in, rewound it, because the last time you played it, you never rewound it when you were finished, and you press play and that loaded the game, and you went for dinner, and by the time you came back from dinner, the game had loaded. Are you enjoying it, Laura? Because I kind of fancy having a little go at it, but I haven't really spoken to anyone that's played it. Oregon Trail on the classroom PC. Did you have BBC computers at school? That's what we had. Yeah, we had loads of text based games. Have you never there's a Discworld text based game. It's really as nonsensical as the books, but it's great fun. That would have come later. That wasn't like one of the first text based games. Yeah, BBC computers, yes. And it was brown and cream. high fashion colours of the time, Cal. That's funny. They took up so much space because ours were on like a big trolley that got wheeled about, and it was bigger than like a supermarket shopping trolley. It was ridiculous. When you think about it now, and here's me complaining about the battery life on on my Steam Deck. We've come so far. I feel like my stones are looking okay. Like I think I'm quite happy with them so far. Yeah. No, Jem, this was likely before you were born. I'm sure it was, but we still had them because technology moved a lot slower, Jan. Um, lot slower back in the day. It's an Atari 800. Mary, I'm played original AD&D old. Cal's on the Discord for Bloody Hell Hotel and they're all teenagers and they couldn't believe I was so old. Oh, the joys. It's always quite fun if you've got kids or grandkids or nibblings. It's the disbelief when you tell them like you never used to be able to save your game, and they're like, "What? Oh, can't do that." I think it's really funny. I didn't have. It was actually my neighbours. They had an Atari ST. Excuse me, and I spent a lot of time playing at the neighbours as well because the graphics at that point we had the Spectrum and the graphics on the Atari were so much better and there was a lot of overlap in the games. And they were so much prettier on the Atari ST. So I used to go knock my neighbour's door. It was an elderly couple whose adult son lived with them, and their grandkids used to come and stay. So like the obviously the son was the uncle, and he was like total computer geek type, and he used to, even if the kids weren't there, he would let me go around and play things like James Pond, all the Dizzy games. Good times, I tell you. They were on floppy disks. Not really sure. Mm, maybe put a little bit down there. I don't want to get too fussy around these little fronds. I do like that word. But I don't want this to look, I want to try and keep it looking like it belongs looking like it belongs down here. Good lord. I don't know if I want a wee squeak of sunlight down here, maybe down this side. Maybe just match it up with the steps and keep it chill. I better put that in just now before I forget. So that was the Sunburst Yellow PC 917. Like that one there, that's got a knobbly bobbly bit that's sticking up. So if it's going to be hitting off anywhere, it's going to be there. Try and keep that as subtle as possible. I think that's plenty. You miss that. Desert Strike. Oh, that was another one. My God, Desert Strike. Did that not come out on the Mega Drive eventually? Because I remember it on the Atari, but I'm sure that was like one of the very first like not Sonic games that came out on the Mega Drive, or was it the Master System? I don't know. Ambient light from the lamp. You think so? It's a candle? Like how far? Like is this like a megawatt candle? Really? Okay, all right. I'll cave. Maybe there and there. Yeah. You work with computers, don't you? How do I do through stage such and such? It was a Mega Drive. I thought so. 1992. Yup. 1992. I can't explain to you how excited I was when we got a Game Boy. Because the Game Boy came out in 1989 and we got it early 1990, and it was so expensive. Like so expensive. And again, that was we had to share that though, between my brother and I. But oh, that was like Tetris was the best thing ever, and Super Mario Land was the like the main line Mario title, and that was just oh, that was the beans. And I used to take four AA batteries. I've just realised that we're still on autofocus. Fix that. Um, that was a huge deal, like a huge deal at the time. I mean, 1989. Yeah, I was still a nipper in 1989. Cal's taxi driver called her Lara for years because you kept asking me for Tomb Raider help. Love it. That's another game that I haven't played. Not the original Tomb Raider. When they did the second set, like the modern Tomb Raiders, I haven't played the first one because I think there's three. I haven't played the first one. I should really do that. Also, I think I've actually got that on Steam as well. That would probably run on the deck. I'ma have to look into that. Really enjoyed. I can't remember the name of the one that I played, but it's the one where you start off in the like the snowy forest and you've got to shoot the deer. Um oh, what was it? I can't remember. Anyway, I really enjoyed that as well, and I played a little bit online to do the achievements. That was fun. Oh, Lemmings, yes. I've still got Lemmings on the PC as well. Martine was starting college in 1989. I was definitely not starting college in 1989. Yeah, the new trilogy, Cal. There's a fourth coming out next year. Well, that's exciting. Rise of the Tomb. Right, hang on. I have to do this for my own sanity. I'm gonna look this up. Say, notwithstanding like the original, like the OG Tomb Raiders. Um. Yeah, so the one I played was Rise of the Tomb Raider, that's correct. The one that I didn't play was the one that's just called Tomb Raider, and that came out in 2013. That long ago, really? I played Rise of the Tomb Raider. And I played Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That was the one with the Mayan stuff in it. Yeah. Okay, right. I'm glad I've got that cleared up. Thank you for your assistance with that. Has anyone ever used the Tester Up app? Oh, is that one of those product testing? The first one with the Asian aspect and Shipwreck is Tomb Raider. Yeah, that's the one I've not played. Snowy Mountains and Forests leading to Hidden Valley. Yeah. Yeah, I played Shadow of the Tomb Raider as well. The new one's going to be set in India. Yeah. You're playing Tomb Raider with your brother? Yeah. Do you know what's funny? My brother and I never play games together. Although we're both gaming nuts, so we never play games together. We have very different taste in games. He nearly had a heart attack when I said I was playing Resident Evil 9. He will absolutely, under no circumstances, play anything with zombies in. It just freaks him out because he is convinced that a zombie apocalypse is going to happen. He will not play zombie games, and he thinks I've got something wrong with me because I like scary games. Jan was 30 in 1989. That's okay, Jan. Uncharted games are really good too. Yeah, I love the Uncharted games. Love them. Played them all back in the day. Um, because like it really is like a male Lara Croft, isn't it? Um, it's yeah, I really liked them. The again like hazy memory, but the fourth one wasn't great if I remember. Was there a fourth one? It's either the fourth or the third one wasn't great, but the second one was really good. Nathan Drake. I was also really see when they brought the film out, I was super excited for the film, and then I looked at the casting and I was like, "What did you do that for?" Never watched it. Polly's youngest was 4 in 1989. Okay, so your youngest's younger than me, Polly. Shut up about 1989, you children. Hello, Dario. She sneaked in. She was 38 in 1989. Tom Holland should like. I'm sorry, that is. I rate him as an actor, but he is the most un Nathan Drake ever, and I would not entertain that. Absolutely not. Just no. Like Tom Holland's such a sweetheart. Nathan Drake's an asshole. Come on. Jan's such a coward to live alone, so dare not play Resident Evil. Hi Snoo, how are you? When did you come in? 1989. I was a single mum of a 1-year-old and bought the original Zelda and Nintendo to play after my son went to bed. That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah, he was too young from what he was. Yeah, but even his build, like he's too slight. Yeah, I wasn't into that at all. I thought that was terrible casting. It would have made well. See, I thought Mark Wahlberg should have been Drake, and then you could have brought in Harrison Ford. Like that would have been my choice. That just saying, that would have been perfect. Oh, you've been lurking. I'm just having a rant about Tom Holland. But like, yeah, he's an actual sweetheart, and there's loads of things he's been in that I think he's been great in. But I just thought that was terrible casting. Right, so here's a question for you then, moving slightly more towards films now. That we keep have when I say we, me and Mr. Jem, we keep having the conversation about who we think would make a good James Bond, and I know it's been in the media a lot, and there's been lots of speculation. So we've had this conversation, and Mr. Jem thinks that Tom Hardy would be a good James Bond, and I said no because he's not like he's like the rough and ready type. He's not clean cut enough, but I think that Tom Hardy would make an excellent Bond villain. I think he would be perfect for that. So I would love to hear what who you think would make a good James Bond. I'm waiting to see if anyone's going to say Mr. Jem's one and only pick apart from Tom Hardy. Not a Bond. There we go, Mary straight away. Henry Cavill. That's the only person that Mr. Jem thinks would be acceptable to be James Bond. Matt Bowman, if he could do an English accent. Tom Hiddleston? No. No. Again, too, like, Tom Hiddleston, potential baddie. Nah, not a Bond. Not a Bond. I don't think that's a. Tom Hiddleston's a good shout for a Bond villain as well, though. A younger Richard Armitage type. Too slimy. Too slimy. Okay. That's a bit harsh, but okay. Again, apparently Tom Hiddleston, lovely person from what I've gathered. Yeah, the struggle is real. I mean, realistically, we're never going to want Henry Cavill. We'll never want Henry Cavill for everything because he's just Chris Hemsworth. Taron Egerton. Well, again, maybe Taron Egerton in like 5 or 6 years. Like, I think that could be a good shout as well. Possible. If you look at Roger Moore, Sean Connery, Tim Dalton, they're not what you'd call classically good. I beg to differ. Sean Connery was an extremely handsome man when he was younger. I mean, he's a younger man. He was an extremely handsome older man as well. I do not agree with that at all. It's not really about being good looking. It's about having that clean cut look. Tom Hardy does not. He is the rough and ready look. He's not refined looking enough, not refined as a person. He just doesn't have that look about him. Chris Hemsworth is too muscular. Joanna Lumley would be a good villain. Yes. Henry Cavill, well, he is awesome at everything. I was so sad about The Witcher. Sean Connery, I would. His son Jason Connery played Ian Fleming, yeah. Who's Scott Eastwood? Should I know who that is? I'm not very good with especially like younger actors now. I don't kind of keep up with that stuff. Can someone enlighten me as to who Scott Eastwood is? Would I know films that he'd been in? Might know who you're talking about. Oh, Clint Eastwood, sorry, not Cliff, Clint. Yeah, rugged. That's the word I was looking for earlier, Mary. That's when I was talking about Tom Hardy. Rugged. I like rugged. Yeah. Tom Burke, BBC Musketeers. I don't know who that is either. Would make a good James. I'm gonna have to look all these up. I love that y'all have got like opinions on this, so this is good. Right, I'm gonna away from the bonds for a minute. I'm going to start doing some of these. See, I'll leave these ones alone because we're going to go in with some pastels in a video at some point when there's not calves popping out everywhere. So I've got marine green, and that's not the pencil I was using at all. I have got lime peel. I used the spring green a little bit as well, and the dark green, but I was trying to sort of use different colours to what had been used up here in these ivy leaves or whatever you want to call them. So we'll just get on with that. So I'm going to use that lime peel. That was like the mossy colour, and I know that looks as if it's going to blend in there a wee bit, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. Right, I've just seen someone say hi. That's just zoomed past me. Look, Evans, really? Hi, Kate. How are you? Thanks for joining us. Just to keep you up to date, Kate, we're discussing who would make a good James Bond. Gerard Butler, he's another one, right? Gerard Butler, I'm kind of on the fence with that because he can look quite clean cut and suave, but he can also look quite rough and ready as well. So, but honestly, I think Gerard Butler could pull it off. I do think he could pull it off, but he would be like borderline. But it also depends on what they do with the films, because I have a thing about this as someone who reads more than watches films. If you read the Bond novels, James Bond is an assassin. He's an assassin. And that doesn't always come across in the films per se. So I think there's definitely wiggle room, and I do think that Gerard Butler could pull it off. Thankfully, his accents are quite good as well. Like, he wouldn't necessarily have to be a Scottish Bond, although I would be really happy if he was. But yeah, Gerard Butler would be. I would consider that in the court of. I was about to say bondage. not that's not what I meant. You guys know what I meant. Oh dear. Oh, that's funny. But I do think that the thing for me is I think you need an older actor. And when I say an older actor, somebody like 35, 40 upwards. Um and Mary said she'd have loved Idris Elba, but he's probably too old now. Right, this is the thing, because I've talked about this as well, and it's quite a contentious point, so just be aware of that. If they were to cast a black Bond, it would be Idris Elba all day long. All day long. He also looks absolutely fantastic for his age, and he just looks fantastic, full stop. He's a very handsome man. Um, I don't think he's too old at all. The problem lies with this, especially when you've taken an adaptation from a book. If you switch the race of a character that has been specifically described in literature, it doesn't always go down well. Sometimes it works, and other times it really, really doesn't. And the one that got me was they took one of Stephen King's books, and they made a film out of it. And in the books, Stephen King writes about one of the characters specifically being black, and he describes her a lot, and how like the light hits off her skin, that kind of thing. And it's very obvious in the books that the other characters, like there's this main core of characters, are not black, and they cast Idris Elba as the main character who's clearly not black, and it just didn't work. Like, it didn't work at all. Um, if that hadn't been mentioned specifically in the books, I think it would have worked. But it ended up, the film was nothing like the books, and it was basically a pile of steaming poo, and it should never have been done. But anywho's, Brad Pitt, no, absolutely not. See the uproar about a black Snape at the moment. People are crazy. Yeah, that there's no need for that. I don't think Brad Pitt is too old. I just don't think he would fit in. Like, he doesn't. Yeah, no. And to be fair, I'm not a fan of Brad Pitt as a person, because I don't think he's a very nice person. But I'm a fan of the films that he has done in the past. I just would have loved, but it never have happened. It's really difficult to navigate stuff like that, though, and I don't, I wouldn't say, and because some people hold really strong opinions on stuff like that, and some people would call me racist for saying that. um I am not a racist person by any stretch of the imagination, but it's more the principle of staying true to the source material. That's what it is for me, and I'm like that with a lot of things. Because I read a lot, when there's adaptations of books, a lot of the time I'm like, what the hell are you doing? That's like, it's nothing like the book. um if you were to take source material and take it in a completely different direction, like really mix it up, that's a different thing. But yeah, Cillian Murphy would be a better Bond villain. Oh, yes. Yes. Do you think, though, Bond films are so distant from the book, it matters? Eh, hmm, hmm. Cillian Murphy would make an excellent. I love how we're building a bank of Bond villains here. Can you imagine Cillian Murphy and Tom Hardy? Ian Fleming's James Bond is very different, and neither of them work as a. Yeah. David Tennant, nee. Again, I love David Tennant. Like, he's an absolute sweetheart. Is he Bond material? Probably not. Oh, do you like David Tennant too, Jan? Are you into that? Again, absolutely lovely human being as well. I don't know how many of you watch stuff on TV. There was a series on ITV. It's on ITVX, like the online player now, and it's called The Assembly. And basically, it's a panel of neurodivergent and you know, people with like varying stages of learning needs, that kind of thing. So basically, people that don't necessarily have a social filter, and they put a celebrity in and they interview the celebrity, and the whole point is that there's like no holds barred, nothing's like taboo kind of thing. And David Tennant did one of the episodes, and he was absolutely amazing in it. And he answered some very, very blunt questions and was just a total gentleman through the whole thing. If anybody is interested in that, like, please go and seek it out. It's so good. And we're talking about Peter Capaldi. Peter Capaldi would be an amazing Matt Smith. What role are we having Matt Smith in? Or Matt Smith is James Bond? Foppish, foppish. I think we're getting a bit too picky here, are we not? Stephen Fry is a villain. Mhm. None of the doctors works for Bond. Yeah, because someone said to me Benedict Cumberbatch, and I was like, manner and personality 100%, looks not a James Bond. She's just throwing it, just flinging it out there. Why not? Ah, goodness me. See, that was a conversation starter. Was I just mentioned James Bond? Okay, okay. Matt Smith is now a villain who seemed to be an ally but ended up being a mastermind. I think you need to start writing a screenplay, Cal. Ah, funny. It was a good question, though, wasn't it? Glad I opened up that up to the floor. The other person, that program that I was talking about, the assembly, the other person that was amazing on it was Danny Dyer. I'm not a Danny Dyer fan at all, but he was spectacular. Some of the questions, they were asking about his misdemeanors and his wife kicking him out and stuff, and he was super super open, and he did breathing exercises with them all because someone had asked how he deals with like anxiety and stuff, and he had all of them like meditating. It was amazing. I highly recommend it. It's a really really good watch. And that's something I never thought I would say about Danny Dyer, because I've always thought of him as a bit of a bell end, for want of a better phrase. I don't want to use like proper sweary words. Still, we're not before the watershed. Colin Firth? Mm, possibly. He was good in Kingsman. Well, I always think, see Bond villains, any of the scores, Gord brothers, all make great Bond villains. David Tennant did a podcast where he interviews loads of other people, and he's wonderful. He's just like a good human being. Like he's a good egg. He really is a good egg. I'm gonna have to sharpen up my spring green here. I've just got my wee to gal sharpener set at number 3. It's perfect for these Prismacolors. Not a fan of Bill, a bit goofy. Do you not think he'd be great in a Bond film as a villain though? Skarsgård. Bill Skarsgård. I really hope Julia doesn't see this because she'll annihilate me for my Swedish pronunciation. Because there's actually, I think there's four brothers and then the father, and I get them all mixed up. Yeah, how did we feel about Dame Judi Dench being in the Bond films? Was that a thumbs up from everyone, or did we not like that? Oh, Jan loved her. Mary loved her. Oh, open my pencil. I thought she was perfect. I was watching a short. Some of you know that I dabble in TikTok occasionally, and I was watching a short, and it was Daniel Radcliffe talking about Michael Gambon on set, and apparently he was like a total prankster, and he used to just mess about all the time. Because a lot of the rest of them were quite serious and like looking after the kids. Because when the films first started, obviously Harry et al. were tiny people, and apparently Michael Gambon just wanted to have a good time. It was really, really funny. But he was so polite because he was like rattling off what he was talking about, and all of a sudden he stopped and went, "Oh, sorry, excuse me, am I allowed to swear?" And the interviewer was like, "Yes, swear away," and then he just started throwing out F bombs. It was hilarious. Cal hasn't seen a Bond after Brosnan. I didn't like Pierce Brosnan as Bond. Helen Mirren. Oh, Martine, that's a good. Oh, I like that. Yes. Dame Helen Mirren. Yes, yes, yes. I like your thinking. Yeah. He had acronyms for things as well. And the last one was two twats in a boat. So they were talking about the scene, and he's saying, "Oh, so it's TTIB," and Harry Daniel Radcliffe's like, "What's TTIB? Two twats in a boat." I have to say, like, I'm conflicted. Going back to the Bond thing, I'm conflicted about Daniel Craig because uh, I think he was a good Bond, but at the same time, and I don't really know how to explain this. I just found him incredibly dull at the same time. Is it possible to have those two things together? Like, he kind of personified that sort of reserved Englishman, you know, it's sort of, I don't really know how to describe it. I know, yeah, he was very stoic in places, but I think that kind of worked a bit. So if we gender bend, what female would be Bond? Female Bond. Hmm. I have to have a think about that. Leave that one with me. It's got to be someone that can be a badass bitch. I think that kind of goes without saying, though, doesn't it? Also for Jamie Lee Curtis. Okay, yeah, I'll give you that one. Rachel Weisz. Oh, good shout, Patty. You'd say no to it. Yeah, but this is just hypothetical, though. Just hypothetical. I'm trying to think of who else. I don't know. I'm trying to think of. Rachel Weisz is actually a really, really good shout. I think part of what would be problematic with that is generally we don't see a lot of women over a certain age in a main character action role. If it's going to be a main character action film, they tend to pick a younger actress. But Bond, has experience and blah blah blah, and Kate Beckinsale. Oh, maybe. Hmm. Billy Piper. Oh no, 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 no. I don't know who Haley Atwell. Maybe I do know who Haley Atwell is, but I think it needs to be like again, objectifying women here. I'm terribly sorry, but I think it needs to be a foxy older woman. Right, I'm gonna have to Google Haley Atwell now. You guys, I probably know who she is. I just don't know her name. British actress. Okay, what we been in? Brideshead Revisited, The Duchess, and miniseries The Pillars of Earth. Nope. Peggy Carter in the Marvel Cinematic Unit Captain America. Okay, that explains why I don't know who she is. Mission Impossible. Okay, right. Okay, Mission Impossible. Now we're talking. Halle Berry. Oh, that's such a good choice. Well, Gemma Arterton's already been in a Bond film. Yeah, I know nothing about superhero films because I'm so bored of them. I was done with superhero films in like 2010. Um, Halle Berry, I think would be a really good choice. Yeah, Gemma Arterton has literally been in Bond films. That would be weird. That would be weird. Although, do you know something? Kaya Scolidero. So she's been in quite a few things, but she was in Skins. She played Effie in Skins, and she has matured into quite an interesting actress. I think she could possibly pull it off, but she's maybe like a wee bit too young. If she was maybe like 5 or 10 years older, and I'm very much invested in an older Bond. It doesn't matter if it's male or female. Yeah, she was in a Bond film. She'd still be great as a female Bond. Angelina Jolie, absolutely not. Mila Jovovich, I don't know how I feel about anyone. The chap that does the Land Rover advert, he was in The Gentleman. Ah, they're all too old. Bond is in his 30s. Well, it depends. It depends when the films are set. That's what I'm saying. Like, I much, much prefer an older Bond. It's not a controversial opinion. Angelina Jolie's an ass. They're the go-to action females, exactly. Like, we're done long ago, like done to death. See, once you get to play Tomb Raider and like Lara Croft, you don't get to do Bond as well. them's the rules. Right, okay. So I'm kind of done here. I'm looking at the time. It's 5 past 5. Thea hated when she was Lara Croft. Anthony Head. Oh yes, that was a good choice. I like that as well. Oh, definitely too old, but yeah, I still think yeah, definitely too old. Again, maybe in another role though. Why not? Okay. Yeah, I think I'm just going to carry on with this page. We're getting very heated about the Bond debate here. I'm not going to stop and start pulling out paints. The aim of this is for me to finish my whips, so I think I'll just stick with this. But I'm going to take a wee break just now. I'm just going to see if Pippi wants to go outside, um, because she's not been out as much today because I've not been here. So Tony Head was old 25 years ago. Yeah, but he's still handsome. That's okay. Haley Atwell voiced Lara Croft in the cartoon series. Okay, good to know. I'm absorbing all the new information today. Right, you now have permission. I haven't seen Ulrika in the comments for you, Hell. If you're still here, Ulrika, it's time for you to start talking about what you're making for dinner. James McAvoy, no. James McAvoy. No. No. We saw it, Patty. No. James McAvoy is not it. Oh, like, I'm sorry. I have strong feelings about James McAvoy. Anyway, yes, I'm going to take a break. Time to talk about food, and I'll be back just shortly, and we'll just crack on with this and we'll start our purple door, okay? And I hope you've got even more Bond suggestions by the time I come back as well. Susan's joined the pizza gang for dinner. I'm so badly in need of a haircut, it's untrue. It's just that this is just getting worse. I don't know if you've noticed, but my hair's actually purple. It's not blue anymore. I don't think I'm not that keen on the purple, honestly. I've got a wedding to go to in June, and the hairdresser suggested that if I dyed it dark purple just now, that it would fade out to like a sort of lavender colour. My dress is like a pale pink. I don't know how well that's going to work, but it's really like it's almost like offensively purple, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. Anyway. Yeah, we had a break. Green hat. Fish fingers for kids, not sure for grown-ups. We like a fish finger wrap in our house. You know, nice crispy salad and some sweet chili sauce. Bung the fish fingers in the air fryer. That is a great dinner when you're calving, because it's tasty. Mr. Jem can eat about 16 fish fingers though, to be fair. So at this point, I'd say you risk it being a bit extra porous and staying quite dark. Well, I don't know, because this the hair colour itself, it's a Arctic Fox that I use. It's not permanent colour, it does fade, and the more you want, like, you can engineer it so that it fades more, if you know what I mean. You know, like if you wash it more. So they're not as chunky as you, yeah, but we buy the big chunky ones. You get like the big extra large fish fingers. Anyway, it's going to be an experiment, and I think if push comes to shove, I'll just put a dark colour over it, you know, and worry about it later, kind of thing. I'm not entirely invested in the purple though. As Kath commented today, because she's used to seeing me with blue in my hair, and she was walking towards me and she's like, "Oh, you're purple." I was like, "Yes, I'm purple." Sounds good. Not sure I have enough to feed all of us. Yeah, that's a great go-to dinner though, especially like, see if you've been working and stuff and you're busy. It's all good. Right, on the theme of purple, I want to try and consider how I can make this door purple but keep it looking quite weathered. So, thankfully, in this lovely set of Prismacolor pencils that we've got, we have this pencil, which is the Grade Lavender, which I think is going to be really helpful. Again, maybe I want this to look like the colour that my hair's going to fade to, hopefully. So let's pick out some purpley type colours. I don't think that the sort of royal purple, it's not in keeping, you know, it's going to stand out too much, I think. But it fades to a bluey teal colour. See, that's what I'm worried about, because obviously it's blue that I've got underneath, and because I lighten my hair to dye it, there's a hint of yellow there. I mean, it's very, very light, all things considered, because my hair is super dark. Like, my hair lifts really, really well. But I'm worried it's going to head back in that direction. So I think I'm just going to have to just wait and see what happens, honestly. Well, Cal's saying she's got live colour drops that you add to your conditioner. I add a splurge of the hair dye into my shampoo. Mother Nature. Yeah, I don't know. I just feel that, I don't know whether it's because the purple's lighter than the blue, but it just feels really like in your face. It's like it's too, almost too purple. Um, so I don't know what to do, but I say I really need a haircut. It's ridiculous. It's just I want to keep the length for the wedding so that I've got more hair to pin up. But my fringe and everything, like this is just like hanging in my face now, and it's not sitting anymore because my hair's quite wavy. Like I straightened this morning, and it's just reverting to form, which is fine. That's just the way it goes with my hair. Um, but I'm more concerned about the colour situation, honestly. But I think that depends on whether your purple's more blue leaning or red leaning as well. Yeah, oh, Thea didn't like purple either, which is ironic because Thea likes the colour purple. Yeah, I get a bit of transfer. Do you know where it shows up with me, Green Hat? It's in my nails, and you can see it. My nails aren't nearly as white as they usually are, and that's because just from like touching, because I haven't washed it since I washed out the actual dye itself. And I get a wee bit of transfer on my pillowcase as well, but that's not really a big deal because my pillowcases are dark. Right. I think I'm just going to pop a layer of grade lavender down and go from there. I might go with a combination of purple and maybe the warm grey might work because I do want to keep this quite muted. But I'm up for a purple door, but I think it just might be a slightly delicate purple. Exactly the same, yeah. The good thing is though, see the Arctic Fox hair dye, it smells absolutely amazing. And it's really easy to work with, like the coverage is really good. I will say on my greys, the grey hair does take the hair dye, but because obviously your grey hair is a hair that's got no pigment in it, it's very, very light. You know, I don't get this sort of deep rich colour that I get on the bleached parts on the grey hair, but it does cover the greys fairly well. And for me that's because I was looking in the mirror the other day before I dyed it, and basically all round my hairline now I'm more or less I've got grey all the way round, and then I've got a few up here and in at my ears, so the grey is increasing. Um but the hair dye does a fairly good job, but when you look at it next to my ends it still looks grey because this is obviously a lot darker. And Cal says either I'm getting tired or autofocus is playing up. Yeah, we're still on autofocus, my bad. Let me away. Right, that should be better, Cal. Thanks for mentioning it. Directions hair dye now is so much cheaper. Well, I mean, the Arctic Fox hair dye isn't bad. I think it's about 20 quid a tube, and a tube more than does my whole head, and I've got really, really thick hair, and I only have to do it maybe every 6 or 8 weeks. My problem is I have to go to a hairdresser to get it lightened. Like I can't do that myself, and I'm not even going to try. Um, and that's where the expense comes for me. The actual colouring part is that's the cheap bit. Okay, I think this is the Parma Violet. I might get a wee pencil extender out here. Hang on. In my nice tidy desk tidy. Oh, there's my Oh, I've got markers and everything floating about here. Good grief. Cal's got a gradient of many greys and bright white. Mine just seem to be white. I don't know, but my Italian grandfather, he went from really dark to just white, like proper silver fox. But I don't seem to have many hairs that are grey that have got any pigment in them. It's just like they're almost see-through. A rogue stripe. Oh my, no, my greys have definitely accelerated. I would say probably in the last 18 months, but I'm still not. If my hair was not lightened or dyed a funny colour, if I was just my natural hair, if I was wearing it down, nobody would look and say, oh my god, you've got loads of grey hair. But my problem is that I like most of the time my hair's pinned up, and unfortunately that's where most of the grey is. It looks like kind of like many layered street jobs. Mr. Jem asked me if I would just go silver, and I was like, no, I'm trying to hide the grey hairs. I don't want to make myself look more grey. I'm not ready for that yet. I was like, I'm only 42. Like, not, definitely not ready. Right, let's put this Parma Violet down and just see what happens. So I'm going to try and stick with, a wee bit of texture here. It's not so good to do, as I mentioned earlier. It's better if you've got a pointy point, but you're not going to get the same definition because these pencils are so soft, and they don't layer as well as the polychromos. But I think if we use a mixture of maybe one of the warm greys and keep building up the Parma Violet, this might just work. I don't really have a vision for a purple door. I think, because you guys have suggested it, I don't really have a set plan in my head, but I'm always willing to risk it for a biscuit. 100%. I think I should have some of the lime peel green at the bottom as well, like so it looks mossy, and maybe around these hinges as well. Mary's lucky. Still have hardly any grey hairs, although mine are white rather than grey. Yeah, well, that's what I'm finding, and because I'm so dark, they stick out like a sore thumb. The cow started getting white since she was 14. Well, if you've been dealing with it for that long, I can see why it wouldn't be an issue. I didn't really start going grey until I was like 38-ish. I mean, I had like a very odd one, but I still want this door to look purpley enough though. I'm having door issues. Yeah, so let's get that line peel, especially up these, because it tends to travel up sections like that. I think I maybe even want to put a bit of the marine green in here because it's looking quite, yeah, look, it looks really close to the reflection that we've put in. Here is my marine green. It is. I don't have my glasses here. I don't know where my glasses are. I'm not about to start going hunting for them. I had to admit defeat the other day, and some of you know that I'm kind of still getting used to having reading glasses. And I was on my phone and I was looking at something on my phone, and it didn't matter like how far away from my face I put it, I still couldn't read it. And I just had to accept that the font was too small and I couldn't read it. Well, my oldest uncle, so Mama Jem's oldest brother, he's 75 or 76, and he literally has like a wee sprinkling, like 3 or 4 wee greys just above his ears on both sides, and that's it. And his hair's like a mid-brown colour, and he's got this massive thick head of hair. All my family on both sides have got really thick hair. And he's just never got any more greys than that. And I was like, see if I could end up like my uncle, that would be amazing. Like I would be cool with that, but I don't think it's going that way, honestly. Yeah, either really bright or really dark. Yeah, it's a struggle when your hair's this dark because everyone always says to me, "Oh, you've got such lovely dark thick hair," and I'm like, "Yes, and it's all over my body. Like, it's not just limited to my head." I'm quite lucky though, and I realise that, and I do like my hair. It can be quite wayward and quite wild just because it's wavy. But generally, I'm quite happy with my hair, and I wouldn't change it. But when you start to go grey, you're into like different territory. And I was completely open to just waiting and seeing how I felt about it as it happened. I was just open to, I might absolutely hate it and want to dye my hair like as close to my natural colour as possible forever. Or I might embrace the greys. Like I didn't really have an opinion on it. But I just feel just now like I'm not ready to go grey, and I don't like it because, and it's the contrast, it's not the fact that I'm going grey, it's the fact that they're so different to my dark hairs. It's just, it is opposite ends of the spectrum, and I'm like, nah, I'm not ready for this yet. And thankfully, obviously, because of the work that I do with the cave and also my proper job, I'm not necessarily customer facing, and the cows don't care what colour my hair is either, so why not? Um, so that's kind of where I'm at with the hair thing. Maybe once I'm a bit older, like, because I'm thinking like depending on how the grey progresses, maybe in my late 50s, I might go and go for like a silvery colour. If I've lost enough pigment on, like a greater proportion of my head, I might just go for it. Um, But and the other thing that's quite interesting as well, genetically, my family have had no hair thinning, and again, that's on both sides, like my mum's side and my dad's side. So chances are, even when I do go white or grey or whatever, I'm still going to have a lot of hair. And I love, I'm sure you've seen lots of ads or, you know, stuff on social media of older women that have got like, you know, like maybe like a nice bob and their hair's like beautifully silver. Like I would do that. I would totally be that person. But I would, you know, it only looks good if you've got like nice thick hair to do it. Um, because again, we have this conversation a lot about at what point are you feeling like you should cut your hair shorter? Because with the exception of my old deputy head teacher at my primary school, and I think I've talked about her before, Mrs. Dunlop. I don't even know if she's still alive. She was a very refined older lady, and her hair was very very long, but she always wore it pinned up on a like a flat bun, you know, like a cinnamon bun, like right on the top of her head, and she was mostly grey. And she's the only much older lady that I've ever known that looked fantastic with long hair. And we had like a charity event at one point, and she wore it down, and but she was dressed as like a schoolgirl or something, and she had it in like big long pigtails, and we were amazed because we never knew her hair was that long because it was always like up here on top of her head. But her hair was fantastic, and I remember asking her, and I was only little at that point, and I asked her if she ever wore her hair down, and she said only on special occasions and only for special people. She was fantastic, and she was very arty. She used to do all the art stuff with the kids in different classes, even though she was the deputy head. She was a fantastic teacher. Our dark thick hair came back at the right point. Ulrika's in the gang. Patty's dad had black hair and didn't go grey until his 80s. Wow, that's amazing. Dawn French, her hair's amazing. Yes. Dawn French is a really, really good example. Okay, I feel like the purple's kind of coming along. I think I want to put some grey in now, and I want it to be quite dark. I think I might be risking a biscuit here for the 90% cool grey, but I'm gonna go for it. I'll go steady though. I think I would want more round this, you know, like round where the frame, and would be darker on this side again, just thinking about light sources, but I kind of need it to be a little bit grimy if we're going to make it work. See now that what is going on with this camera? Behave. Do we not think that this looks a bit better with the yeah? Ulrika's had grey white hairs at temples for quite a while. It doesn't bother me. I only really notice it when I tie my hair. That's what you missed there, Ulrika. That's what I was just saying. Like if my hair's down, it's not that noticeable. I've got like an odd couple up here, but it's not a big deal. But because I'll usually have my hair up, it's very obvious. Very obvious. I think it's interesting though how some people are bothered by it and some people aren't. And I didn't really know how I was going to be. Like I really didn't. And I wasn't surprised or unsurprised when I decided I was like, no, I don't like this. Just not yet. I just feel like. But then again, like I always feel there's some people that really embrace, especially I would say past 35. And a lot of you guys are my age or older, so you can tell me your thoughts as well. But there's some people that get to like maybe 35 or 40 and they're just like, yep, do you know what? Whatever, like it's natural, that's the way it is, and I completely respect that. But in my head I'm still like 25. I mean, I'm dyeing my hair purple and having a good time and building Lego, and you know, outside of the massive responsibility that I have for animals and one thing and another, you know, I'm still very much like I want as much fun and color and stuff like that in my life, and I'm not ready to succumb to any sort of middle age stereotypes. And I don't know whether that's healthy or rebellious or normal, or like, I don't know what it is, but I don't really care. I'm just like, this is me. And, if I can keep feeling like 29 in my head for another decade or so, then that made me really happy. Just getting my pointy point back here. You've always felt like you're 90. Oh, Cal. Hello, Stephanie. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Don't feel I'm old enough to go grey yet, young at heart. Yeah, that's just, yeah, I just don't feel, I don't know. Oh, you just had a dump of it. It might have come from me. I'm sorry, Mary. Try 54 and yup, totally agree. Yay. My body is a temple, old, crumbling, and probably haunted. You guys are so funny. But see, I think about my mum and my gran, so my mum's mum, and they were never assumed to be the age that they were. First of all, they were blessed with really good skin. I did not get that DNA, unfortunately. But they were always assumed to be a lot younger than they actually were. But I do think that their attitude and the way that they carried themselves had a lot to do with it. Like, even before mum got sick, she would go and get her nails done. That was her one treat, because my mum never, she wasn't really a materialistic person. Like, she didn't want shoes and handbags and all this kind of stuff, but she used to be a nail biter, like, severely. And she started going and getting her nails done, like with like a shellac, to try and let her nails grow. And she ended up, she's like, it's the one treat, and she goes and gets it done however many times a month or whatever. But she would go during the summer and she would get bright, offensive orange nails with sparkly bits in it, just because. And someone had made a comment to her that women of her age shouldn't have red nails or sparkly nails or whatever. And my mum basically told that person to F off, which I thought was hilarious. But she was very much like, it doesn't, like, age has got nothing to do with anything, and she loved to wear bright clothes and, that kind of thing. Um, and I think that had quite a lot to do with, like, keeping herself young, if you know what I mean. But apart from the fact she does a really silly sense of humor, like, some of you will remember the Cavemas stream where we were doing the Scottish words, and all you could hear in the background was my mum, who was sitting outside the door of the cave at that point, and you could hear her going ha 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 ha, laughing away to herself. So I do think a lot of it's in the mind. Martine thinks she's got a mental age of 10. Stephanie says, I just wanted to say I used to watch the unboxing videos at the beginning of this channel, and I love the evolution. Well, thank you. Do you know, that's really lovely, especially now that we're like back to the boxes. I do have one sitting there that I've not touched. I really appreciate that, Stephanie. Thank you. I have to say, Jan was talking earlier about watching the old videos and stuff. I find them very difficult to watch. And I think it's just because it's slightly uncomfortable noticing how uncomfortable I am. And obviously, as time's gone on, I've got a lot better at a lot of things to do with this. And as it's evolved as well, I've been able to be more myself. Because one of the things I was really worried about at the start was, were people going to understand my accent, if English wasn't their first language. And I've stopped worrying about stuff like that. And I say this all the time, and I always go to Jan for confirmation, because Jan has met me in real life. Like, with the way that I am, this is the way I am in real life. I'm not pretending to be something that I'm not. But I had to pick up the skills, and doing YouTube, especially as someone who's quite like a fledgling artist, it's a really steep learning curve. So I really appreciate that, Stephanie. Thank you, and I'm glad that you're here. Ulrika has a beach body, old and gnarled in a haunted forest. Have you got murder trees round about you, Ulrika? Oh, Thea's already said it, love it. There's a cranky one in the attic. Snoo stopped colouring her hair after getting it coloured, and a few days later could not put my hair up. Oh. Guilty pleasures. If I like something, I'm going to enjoy it. Don't make me feel bad. Yeah. Yeah, let's see, I'm not really, I don't follow trends or anything, and that's very apparent, and even in the channel, like, I just don't do, I'm not interested in that. I started the channel to share what I was doing in the hope that I could find a couple of, well, it was 100 was my first goal, of people that would kind of like feel the same way. I feel if you start clout chasing or like jumping on the trend bandwagon, it takes away from why I started the channel in the first place. Like, I never started this channel to make money from it or anything like that. And I've stayed true to that, and I don't, you know, for the most part, I don't really care. I'm a bit miffed that YouTube have basically like quarantined me because I had a spell where I didn't put out any videos and I was only live streaming, and I feel that that's really, really unfair. But in the grand scheme of things, you know, in the bigger picture, I actually don't care at all, because I never want to get to a point where art feels like a chore. And don't get me wrong, there are times when I'm working on things and I think, God, I just wish I could get this finished. But that's actually more about time pressures than not wanting to do it, if that makes sense. And I try really hard to, you know, to manage that. It was like I was saying about the acrylic painting for the Cave Discoveries video. I'm not going to push through and finish that painting because that video should really be out by now, because I'm not going to be happy with it. It's also going to come across in the video that I'm just there to like get it done kind of thing. Like, I don't want that. And if that means sacrificing you know, some monetization revenue, then so be it. It's not a big deal. I never want this to turn into a chore. Right, I feel as if I'm kind of getting somewhere with the door. Are we looking icky enough? What do we think? Like, maybe round the handle a wee bit there as well. And where the knocker? Knocker? Well, it is a handle, a knocker. Might be both. Like, where that sits, there might be a little bit of that. I'll spend a bit of time darkening up this side. Oh. You guys are definitely, well, this is what I'm saying. I was saying about my social battery earlier. Like, I did not want to people anymore when I came back, but sitting here with you guys is not peopling for obvious reasons, because it's not face to face, but it's because you guys are my people. You're an Anglo from Montreal. You love accents. Oh, haha. You get the people that love what you love round you. Yeah, well, I always say that, like, I never, because around the time I started this channel, that was when you were encouraged to be very aggressive with pushing your channel on all the socials, which at the time Facebook was still really big. And I never, ever, ever did that, unless there was like, I would share an artwork that I'd done in a video, but it was more to share the artwork. And I've always had the opinion that I'm just going to do what I do, and if people like it, they'll find me. Like, that's how I feel about it. And I don't care how many subscribers I've got. Just with the shot, like, it kind of grew legs. Like, this happened by accident, let's be realistic. And I have a baseline income that I need to generate, because things like the website and replacing equipment, it costs money. So I need to be not out of pocket for that. But outside of that, any income that's generated, that's just a bonus. I call it my pocket money. So that's, and I've always maintained that. And this is our 8th year. The cave is 8 years old now. And if you'd told me back at the start that I would still be here in 8 years and still be really enjoying it, especially all the other stuff, like, you guys have like been with me through so much, getting married, people dying, dogs getting put down, more dogs arriving, like, you've seen a lot of it. And it's a really happy place to be. And I say this quite a lot on these streams, but I feel that we've got a really nice, safe space here for people to be themselves. And we've got lots of mods as well, and we never have any problems in the streams of any, sort of magnitude. So it's just a really nice place to be. And I always feel like the streams, especially, like we're just hanging out. It's just a group of friends hanging out. Thea loves a Scottish accent. That's probably my most frequent comment, is people saying I love your accent, and I'm like, it's really funny how I put all these efforts like into these videos, like to draw and paint stuff, and everyone's like, love your accent. It's the one thing I don't have to make any effort to do. It's quite funny. Martine says, or just changing back to what we were talking about, I think I've hit menopause, etc. Now I have the attitude I do what I think, not what others think. Peer pressure doesn't work anymore. More choosy. Well, I've been doing that for years, Martine. I think that's wisdom. I don't think that's necessarily menopause or perimenopause. I think that's just, yeah. Cal's slowly trying to rediscover joy after 15 years of survival mode. Very important thing to do. Jan's just backed me up. Thanks, Jan. Gem is exactly as you see here. I had a smashing time. It was, and this is the interesting thing. I'm sure lots of you converse with other people online all the time. Um, the first time you meet someone in person, it can be awkward. And strangely, the only two people that I've met is Julia, who you all know is a very good friend of mine now, and Jan. And both times when I met them for the first time, it was as if you were meeting up with an old friend, and like you were catching up and you hadn't seen each other for 6 months. Like, it was so natural. And it was really nice. Because when Jan came to visit, we met in Edinburgh, but we were both getting on the same train, so on the same line, but at different stops. So I'd got on first, and I'd said to Jan, like, I'll try and sit in a certain place or let you know where I am so that you can get in. And as we were pulling up to the platform, I saw Jan stand on the platform, and I was like waving out the window. And it was the way she smiled and waved at me. I was like, oh, this is so exciting. And she just got on and sat down in front of me. We were just chatting away, like casual chat. And it's so lovely. Like, it really was. It was amazing. I had such a good time that day as well. Hugs. Oh, hugs for Cal. Yes. Why are people giving you funny? Right, I don't understand this. See, anytime I've got my sketchbook out in public, which granted isn't very often, I never get funny looks. I get people asking me, what are you drawing? Like, people that are interested, or kids that want, like, they'll ask if they can like look through my sketchbook, and I was like, you're not going to find anything exciting in there, but on you go, kind of thing. I find it really strange because quite a few of you have said that you get funny looks for stuff like that, and I don't understand that at all. Like, drawing something that we do when we're tiny little kids, like, it's so natural, and colouring and stuff like that. Why would we not continue to do that as adults? Like, I find it a really strange point of view. But I've never had fun. I get genuine interest. Like, "Oh, what you doing?" And I'm always happy to oblige or entertain. I'm not always keen on strangers looking through my sketchbook, but I've become more relaxed about that over the years. Like, I definitely have. Um, but it was my sister-in-law was the first person. So this is Mr. Jem's oldest sister. And she was the first person ever to ask me if she could look through my sketchbook. And I'm like, I don't know what you think you're going to find. Like, it's a sketchbook. It's not full of like finished artwork or masterpieces. And but she is a person, she's the first person to admit that she doesn't have like a creative bone in her body, and she genuinely just liked looking through it because there was nice things to look at. Like, that was her justification, which was fine, and I was like, that's actually really nice. Murder, we're still talking about the murder trees as well. Yes, I wish I had that on video. Is that you referring to the meeting of the Jan and the Gem? Since the whole nearly, yeah, Minnie's got really good reasons to not give two Fs. Older people and people under 20 ask me what I'm doing. People my age and a bit younger give me odd looks. That's really interesting as well. Right, now that's interesting. Look at what Martine has said. She gets folk asking to see the rest of my sketchbook. Martine's also Scottish. I would just like to point that out. Um, Interesting, isn't it? I'd tell them that a sketchbook is a very personal thing, like a diary, no looking. I have used that before, but it was someone that was being obnoxious, and that was the only reason I was like, you're not getting this out of principle. Even the group of drunks waiting for the pub to open. The pub to open. Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah, the meeting on the train. Oh, it was so much. When Jan got off, it was even funnier though. I think those Scottish people are a lot more chill. Like we're quite chill anyway. Like I always say this, we get a bad reputation for being quite harsh and also for being really tight with money. And like we're the friendliest people you will ever meet. You'll get a ribbon along the way. Like we don't pull any punches. Um and I've mentioned this before, but we use the c word as a term of affection and also as a complete insult, and you can do that both in one sentence, and it's normal. Um, but yeah, I think we're actually more relaxed than people think we are, but we're equally able to give everyone a hard time, and it can be quite rough if you're not used to it. Maybe it's London. Right, so you know how I mentioned ages ago that I had a wee notion to come to London, just because I haven't been in years. Maybe we should do an experiment. Maybe the Scottish person should go to London with a sketchbook and see what happens. I see nothing wrong with it. Jan, yeah, Jan was again, just to fill everyone else in. Jan was very enthusiastic once she got off the train, and again I was staying on the train to go back to my stop, and she was doing some very enthusiastic waving on the platform, and as she was walking away, and the train conductor was like in the same compartment as me, and he was killing himself laughing, and he said, is she always like that? I was like, I think so. It's like, this is the first time we've met in person, but I think so. It was a good day. My only regret about that day is I wish the weather had been better, because Edinburgh, when the weather is nice, is so much lovelier. But that's the risk you take when you visit in January, I'm afraid. So, you know. Right, how do we feel about that? Oh, I'm really conflicted here, guys. It's not as grubby as I want it to be. Is it purpley enough for you? Are you happy with the level of purple? Take a GoPro. We didn't get, that's true, we didn't get wet. Mary loves the door. I was actually thinking like that there's more Scottish cavers than I thought there was. And I did actually think at one point about having a meetup, and I would maybe do one in Edinburgh and one in Glasgow. Even if it's just a really casual, like go for a coffee and bring a sketchbook kind of thing. Um, I think for England though, that would be a bit more difficult, because for those of you that are down south, you're a lot more spread out. Cal's in Wales and Sandy's in Northern Ireland, so that's a bit of a spread. I didn't think the purple door would fit, but you like it, yeah. Maybe another little bit of grey just to grub it up a wee bit more, but Ulrika says, people in my local pub are always polite and friendly about sketching with a pint. In fact, that's what I was doing when I was introduced to my partner. Yeah. By the time I got to London, I only had maybe 20 minutes before I went back. Well, yeah, York is always a good spot if you live in the north of England. Glasgow is now officially part of Urban Sketchers Global as of last week. Well, that's pretty cool. I have to say, like, I do have Glasgow. I thought I'd picked up the Indigo there by accident. I do have Glasgow withdrawal symptoms. Like Edinburgh's great, but it's a very, very different city. And because I'm from the West Coast, my city, my nearest city was Glasgow. It's only like 35 minutes on the train or whatever. And I do miss it in a lot of ways. The music scene is much better in Glasgow than Edinburgh as well. And I just find Edinburgh more, I don't want to say pretentious, but it's very much more touristy geared for obvious reasons. And Glasgow's just a bit more raw and authentic. Um, yeah, it's like there's just something about it. Um, and I really should spend more time because it only takes me an hour to drive to Glasgow from here. Like I can get to Glasgow in just over an hour. Um, but the motorway, the M8 is just an absolute friggin' nightmare. And trying to park a pickup in Glasgow City is not the best thing, really. It's not ideal. So if people are talking about flying to Edinburgh now, oh goodness me. Green Hat could fly to Edinburgh, yeah. It's easy on the train from the south, we always get loads of people travelling up. Art groups in the pub, they sell the organisers art. The stuff is barely up 2 weeks before tourists buy it. Yeah, I've often thought about just setting up shop in like Princess Street Gardens or something and be like, yeah, it's for sale if you like it. I find if you want a laugh, when I worked in the city centre, I used to walk through saying hello to people like I would in my town. Yeah, so Martins and Dunblane. Most people know Dunblane for I mean outside of Scotland, for negative reasons, unfortunately. Um, Dunblane's lovely though. It's a very nice little spot there, and you've got lots of pretty scenery outside of your out of your little spot, haven't you? People in my village look at me like I'm a tourist and I've lived in Wales my whole life. So if I was to do a meet up in Glasgow, Martin's in. Irene is Jan's friend. Again, quick story for those of you that aren't in the know. Um, Jan's friend Irene. I cited one of her scientific papers at college, so I actually know who Jan's friend is, but I've never met her, which is weird, but cool. Susan was born and grew up in Edinburgh, much prefer the quiet of the Highlands. Well, that's understandable as well. Stephanie says it feels like our coffee shop scene is stronger than our pub scene for artsy stuff. Okay. Maybe would be late if I wasn't in bit of Yorkshire. Well, that's true, Andy and Jamie Murray. I wouldn't say that if you mentioned Dunblane to anyone, they might not be the first choice. I suppose it depends on what age you are as well. 6 degrees of Jan Scott. But I don't know her, Thea. I know her name because I cited one of her papers. But she's a vet. Most of her stuff was canine related. Obviously, my degree is applied bioscience, so specifically livestock, but animal stuff. So yeah, I knew who she was. I was like, yeah, I know who that is, but I've never met her. The world is a small town. We're so good. No, I do think, I would very much I would very much like to maybe do something like that, especially with the success of me. Like meeting Jan was just lovely. It really was. It was lovely, and I had such a good time. And I think maybe something art set like Jan and I we did the arty stuff because we went to the National Gallery, we went to Cass Arts, and I spent a ridiculous amount of money. And we had good food and all the rest of it. It wouldn't even need to be anything particularly organised. Like we would keep it really chill the way we do with the streams. Like it wouldn't be this sort of big organised event. Um, but I just think that would be good funsies. I would like that because I mean I've gotten to know a lot of you. Like a lot of you have been around a long time, and it would be lovely to meet you in person because I do feel like I know a lot of you. If I was going to do something down south, when I say down south, I mean England. I don't quite know what I would do. I, for my proper job, my nearest office is Harrogate, which Mary was saying about York, like that's really close. But for our counterparts that are much further south, so that would be awkward. But I do still feel like a trip to London might be on the cards at some point. I don't know when. I don't know when I'm going to squeeze all this in, but I would be up for it. Like I would. A cave convention. Need to find a country house hotel in a central location and do a cave convention. See, if I was still at my old house, I could have done it in my house, honestly. Yeah, Harrogate's not far from you. It's not far from Jan. I love Harrogate as well. There's a really good Thai restaurant. I always bang on about this every time, but it was really, really good. Yes, anyway. Right, I think I'm quite happy with my purple door, guys. I'm going to grab the PC94. I think this is dark sepia. Correct me if I'm wrong, people. Yes, so this is the sepia, but not dark. Dark sepia is the polychrome sepia. I was kind of thinking that for these frames. You know what I mean when I say that, and maybe on these parts on the door as well. But I also thought about getting something metallic in, but again, I want that like grubby feeling, so I don't really know how I feel about that. Venturing out to see people. I know I'm getting brave in my old age, Daria. It is a bit of a Rapunzel's tower, isn't it? Jan wasn't convinced by a purple door, but it looks really good. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Most of the trains you need to get for longer distances route through Birmingham New Street. Interesting. There's a lovely wee place near Drimmen called Turnanot. Yeah. They even have a fire-breathing dragon in a woodland walk. I would be concerned about cost and like, because traveling by train's really expensive now. Like it is, it's really, really expensive. My trip into Edinburgh is quite reasonably priced, but if I have to go further afield, it like makes me want to be sick in my mouth a wee bit. I'm not gonna lie. So I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. You could pull some purple in the rock shadows below the tower. Yeah, that would be quite nice. I like your thinking. Let's just do that right now, shall we? What do we think to that? It's a bugger to get to Wales. It's only a bugger to get to Wales if you're not on the west coast. See, when I stayed at home, because I'm a Scottish West Coaster, Wales isn't that bad. Let's just pop a wee bit of this. I really like that. That was a great suggestion. Let's pop a wee bit of this. We'll not go daft with it. We'll just tickle it in there and then here and there is what I meant to say there. Getting it. See, when I get excited, that's when my words go wrong. I get animated about things. I'm like blah 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 blah. Maybe a wee bit on this side as well. I feel like these aren't dark enough to match up with these ones. I think I maybe need to do a wee bit more work on these. I shall consider that. And I was about to say in my spare time. What spare time? Yeah, yeah. I'm at that point, like we're only like a week and a bit into calving, so our calving block is like 10 weeks. So we're only a week and a bit in, and I'm already excited about going to bed when it's like 4 in the afternoon. I'm like, is it bedtime? That's like a standard joke with Mr. Gemini. It's just like, is it bedtime yet? It's taken me 44 years to get from the west coast to the eastern border. You're not driving in it. I wouldn't drive in Edinburgh. It's terrible. I think I would probably yeah, I would probably try and pick somewhere central. If I was going to do something in Scotland, I would do one in Edinburgh and one in Glasgow. And if people wanted to join, then great. I think that would be fairly sensible. I would probably just get a hotel in Glasgow, to be honest. I'm very comfortable in Glasgow, obviously. I'm quite happy. But it's easy enough for me to get a train from Edinburgh to Glasgow as well. So that's fine. Well, it's a couple of trains, but you know what I mean. It's okay. Not a problem. Okay, we're kind of coming up on 6 o'clock now. I was kind of hoping to have this finished. I have very much enjoyed our chats today, though, between James Bond and computer games and cave conventions and hair. Like, I think we've had a good afternoon. This has been a really nice way for me to decompress after peopling today. Um, it's actually, do you know, it's not so much the peopling, it's the being in public with lots of people round me. Again, you've got to remember that I'm fairly isolated. I don't come into contact with a lot of people. And back to the noises thing and stuff as well, like it's quite overwhelming. So, 5 hours, 37 minutes. What's that for, Cal? Is that the travel time to Edinburgh? Student unions are cheap. Yes, they are. Yeah, to get to Edinburgh. That's a lot. That's a long stretch. I would check out Glasgow. It would probably be easier for you to get to Glasgow than Edinburgh. One would think it might take a little bit less time. The other thing is you could fly. Just say. Oh, we're off to Weight Watchers tonight. Good luck, Martine. I have successfully continued to lose weight. I meant I used to stay in uni accommodation in Edinburgh. Green Hat would need to get a sleeper train. Green Hat, would you not be better going to London? Well, I mean, like, to be fair, where you are, I'm not going to reveal her location unless she wants to. To get anywhere from where Green Hat is, yeah. But you'd probably be better in the Eureka camp. 6 hours and 34 minutes. Good God. That's horrific. Right, okay. I'm gonna call it there for the colouring. I love how we've gone down this rabbit hole of talking about train times and prices and oh dear, my hair's so annoying just now. Um, we yeah, I think that's something that could be discussed further. Maybe not right now. And if I was going to do it, especially in Scotland, I would do it during the what what part of my hair is sticking up here? There's something else there. I would definitely do it in the summer, just because there would be a slight chance that the weather would be better. Uh, it's only a slight chance, but we would do that anyway. 2 hours 45 for London, so you might actually be better going to London as well. It's something I think we can continue that discussion at a later stage, but my experiences with the two that I've had were very positive, and I would be willing to to sort of explore that further in some capacity. So I'll keep it in the back of my mind for now. The other thing I wanted to mention as well, after this stream, probably tomorrow if I've got time, and everything's just totally dependent on me having time just now. I will put up a poll on the posts page on the YouTube channel, because for those of you that are going to join me for the Friday night chill stream, I need you to pick what Lego set you want to build. So I've got 3 options. So if you're into that and you're going to come and hang out on that Friday night, keep your eyes peeled for that little post, and you can give me your input into what you would like to see built. I've made a prediction, like I'm kind of thinking like that, oh, this is what they're going to pick, and every time I do that you prove me catastrophically wrong every time, so I'm kind of looking forward to that. But I'm going to try and get that post up tomorrow. I still need to get the new stuff in the shop. I've got some Colouring Heaven magazines that need to go in, and a few other bits and bats as well. I've got a scroller box sitting there untouched, so I really need to film that. So yeah, it's like there's lots of stuff to do. I'm just really glad I'm feeling better. I can't imagine being in this position, calving and still being unwell. Like, that would be a horrible combination. So thankful for small mercies. How long would the train ride be from Vienna? Thea, you would fly from Vienna to Edinburgh, and I would pick you up at the airport. That's the way that would work. Or we would share a hotel or something. I don't know. Quite fancy the idea of a sleeper train that would stay for a night. Yeah, I like if I was going to London, obviously I would stay overnight as well. Oh, thanks, Ulrika. Yeah, no, I'm so glad I'm feeling better. The mainly I need to look after calves. Yeah, they're kind of important. I need to keep them the right way up. 24 hours to fly from Vienna to Edinburgh, or is that the train? It would be two flights for you. I don't worry. We'll iron out all the details, Stephanie. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. It's a 4 hour drive up to Edinburgh from here, and it's like I can do here to Harrogate in three something. Shh. No, by train. Flying's like 2.5 hours. Yeah, because I was gonna say I think if you look at the map, you're not. You're kind of. But yeah, you've got to remember to drive. I'm only like 40, not even 40 minutes from the airport on a good day. It just depends on traffic. I would absolutely 100% sort that out. Edinburgh train station's pretty good though. It's quite well organised. The trains are always on time. Sometimes they're early, which is annoying. Because you can actually miss a train even though you're on time. That's happened before. Purple, I'm so far away from Gem. A cave meet up. Literally probably only about 20 minutes away. Yeah, well that's kind of one of those ones where I would probably just come and get you. How fast, Jim? Just having a word with my speed camera pals. Well, I'm a lot more significant now because I drive a bright orange pickup. Just three something, Jan, on a good day. That's all. That is all. I had to catch myself today because driving to the Kelpies is like three lots of motorway, like it's all trunk roads and very few like B roads or country roads, apart from like obviously when I leave the farm. And I've not really driven much in the way of any sort of distance in that new truck. And at one point, I was way over the speed limit, and I had no idea I was way over that. Like, I just felt as if I was cruising along, and I was like, "Oh, okay, like slow down." So I'm gonna have to be very careful with that. Um, it also reflected in how much fuel I used. I could more or less see like the near, and I thought that's really expensive. It has been known, and I have been told on many occasions that I've got a very heavy right foot. So, and obviously when you're driving a pickup, it's worse than when you're driving a car. So maybe I need to look at that. Maybe I need to work on that. The anti-paparazzi pattern. Bus to Edinburgh or Glasgow, easy access for me. Yeah, yeah, that wouldn't be bad for you either, Susan. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure the buses to Edinburgh should be good for you. I never used cruise control. That's boring. I don't use the speed limiter either. That's boring. I did find the button to turn off my lane assist today. I was looking for something complicated. I've never like normally pickups are like 10 years behind the technology in a car, so I've never had anything fancy like lane assist, and I was looking for something really complicated, and it's literally a button on the end of the indicator that you just boop and it turns it off. Lane assist is pointless for me because on country roads we don't have a white line in the middle, like the roads are too narrow. There's just no point in being on. So found that today. That was fun. The in a car in the UK, oh my god, wrong roadside. That's really funny because when I go to Sweden, I accidentally get in the right side of the car because when I get in, I think I'm getting into the driver's seat and it's actually the passenger seat, which is obviously where I'm supposed to be. So it's kind of like the driving version of a happy accident. Lane assist is the devil's work. Where Gem's going, she doesn't need roads. Well, to be fair, like I don't really bother with the roads here. I had this conversation with someone recently about the difference between driving on rural roads and driving in populated areas, and it's a very different thing. Like it really, really is. It's important for us to drive in the middle of the road, which obviously in a built up area that's not the thing to do. But you have to drive in the middle of the road so that you can see round corners with hedgerows and stuff. Anyway, that's a whole other story for another time. But yes, wouldn't change it, like it the way it is. A very different animal indeed. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. I'm going to try my hardest, as I said earlier in the stream. I really have to carve out times for things just now and commit to it. I'm going to try my hardest to do that, but I kind of like feel I'm constantly in catch up mode just now. So I'll do my best. But the streams are absolutely set in stone. They will not move. So even if I don't get to videos, you know that the streams will be there. So yes, anyway, and enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, my good people, and keep your eyes peeled for the poll on the posts page. I am now going to go and get into something ridiculous and put big bunny slippers on and curl up on the couch with my doggies. All the pink udder hands. And I'll see you all very soon. Bye everyone.